Gemini, the undeniable signs your soul is ready for a deeper spiritual awakening. Gemini, there comes a moment in every seeker's life when the noise of the world no longer satisfies. Conversations feel hollow, routines feel mechanical, and the same old ways of thinking begin to feel like cages. You may feel restless in ways you cannot explain, an invisible pull tugging at the corners of your mind, whispering that there is more, that life is calling you to a deeper dimension. This is not mere curiosity. This is your soul signaling readiness for transformation. Your spirit is waking up, asking for authenticity, for depth, for communion with truths beyond the visible. You may notice subtle shifts, an urgency to explore inner questions, a desire to dissolve old patterns, a magnetic attraction to esoteric knowledge, and moments of intuition that feel too precise to ignore. These are not coincidences. They are undeniable signs that your consciousness is preparing to expand. Gemini, your dual nature has always danced between the tangible and the unseen, but now the unseen is demanding recognition. The time has come to step beyond surface-level awareness and explore the hidden realms of your soul. If these words resonate, stay with me. Together we will explore the signals, the awakenings, and the subtle cues that indicate your spirit is ready for a deeper journey. And if this message lights something inside you, share it, reflect on it, and let it guide the beginning of your transformation. Gate 1. Recognizing the subtle signals. Gemini, your soul rarely sends messages in bright neon lights. It speaks in whispers, in subtle nudges, in fleeting moments of knowing that something is shifting within you. One of the undeniable signs that your spirit is ready for a deeper awakening is a sense of internal restlessness. You may notice that familiar routines, conversations, and even achievements no longer satisfy the part of you that craves meaning. The world that once felt exciting may now seem shallow, as if you're standing on the edge of something vast, invisible, and profoundly compelling. This restlessness often manifests as questions that have no simple answers. Who am I beyond the roles I play? Why do I feel a pull toward mysteries I cannot yet name? These questions are not distractions. They are your soul stirring, nudging you toward awareness that goes beyond the mind and into the subtle realms of consciousness. Gemini, your intellect has always been sharp, able to juggle dualities effortlessly, but now your spirit is asking you to go further, beyond logic, beyond certainty, into the depths where intuition, synchronicity, and spiritual insight reside. Another sign is a heightened sense of perception. Perhaps you notice patterns that others overlook, experience déjà vu at increasing frequency, or feel energies in spaces and around people that others dismiss. These are not random phenomena. They are echoes of your soul tuning into higher frequencies, preparing you to perceive realities that are usually hidden. You may feel drawn to meditation, sacred texts, or esoteric practices, sensing intuitively that these are keys to unlocking inner dimensions you have only glimpsed in dreams. Emotional sensitivity is also a hallmark of spiritual readiness. You may find yourself more deeply affected by stories, nature, music, or human suffering. While these heightened emotions can feel overwhelming, they are actually signs of your energetic receptivity expanding. Your empathic capacity is awakening, preparing you to engage with the subtle currents of life that many overlook. These feelings are not burdens. They are invitations to tune into your own inner guidance system, to trust that your intuition is real, valid, and increasingly precise. A practical example can illustrate this awakening. Imagine a Gemini woman who suddenly feels disconnected from her social circles and work routine. She experiences vivid dreams that feel like messages, intuitive nudges that guide her attention to books, teachers, or practices she never sought before. Initially, she may resist, attributing these feelings to fatigue or mood swings. But as she leans into them, she begins to notice a pattern. Every time she follows a subtle inner pull, she uncovers insights, experiences synchronicities, and feels an expansion of her awareness. This is the unmistakable signature of a soul ready for a deeper spiritual journey. Similarly, a Gemini man may feel a recurring emptiness despite success, as though he is walking through life on autopilot. Meditation, reflective journaling, or even quiet walks in nature begin to reveal moments of clarity and resonance he has never experienced before. He feels a magnetic pull toward communities, teachers, or philosophies that awaken curiosity and insight simultaneously. These experiences are the universe signaling readiness, the subtle language of the soul preparing him for awakening. Another key indicator is a sudden shift in values and priorities. What once mattered deeply, social status, possessions, superficial achievements, may now feel hollow. You may feel a subtle detachment from old attachments, a natural gravitation toward experiences that nourish your soul rather than your ego. Gemini, this is your higher self reminding you that spiritual growth requires discernment, to release what no longer serves, and to embrace what resonates with your inner truth. Physical sensations can also serve as signals. Some Geminis report tingling, warmth, or pressure in the chest or head, particularly during meditation or reflective moments. Others notice increased sensitivity to light, sound, or energy around people. These are subtle activations of your energetic field, marking the readiness of your mind-body-soul system for expanded consciousness. Finally, synchronicities, coincidences, and intuitive hits become more frequent. You may repeatedly encounter signs, numbers, symbols, or phrases that feel impossible to ignore. These are the universe's way of guiding you, confirming that you are on the right path, and aligning your awareness with spiritual truths that have long been present but now are accessible. Gemini, the combination of restlessness, heightened perception, emotional depth, shifting values, physical sensitivity, and synchronicities forms a pattern, a constellation of undeniable signs. Your soul is no longer content with superficial understanding. It seeks depth, connection, and awakening. Recognizing these signs is the first step. The next step is honoring them, choosing to listen, and taking deliberate action to explore the inner landscapes that are calling to you. In essence, your spiritual awakening begins with awareness. By acknowledging these subtle signals, you validate the stirrings of your soul. You affirm that you are not imagining these experiences. They are real, meaningful, and intentional. Each sign, each nudge, is a gateway inviting you to move beyond the familiar and into the extraordinary realms of consciousness where your true self awaits. Gate 2. Decoding the signs and beginning your awakening. Recognizing the signs is only the beginning, Gemini. The next step is learning to decode them, understanding what your soul is trying to communicate and how to respond. Spiritual awakening is not a passive experience. It requires conscious engagement. Each nudge, each subtle shift, each inner whisper is a message, and your task is to listen, interpret, and act. One clear signal is recurring questions or thoughts that push beyond your usual mental patterns. You may find yourself asking, who am I beyond my identity as a Gemini? What is my purpose? These questions are gateways. They indicate that your consciousness is expanding and that you are ready to explore dimensions of yourself previously unexplored. Instead of brushing these thoughts aside, embrace them. Journal your reflections, meditate, or discuss your insights with trusted mentors or spiritually aligned friends. The act of inquiry itself catalyzes awakening. Another sign is vivid or symbolic dreams. You may notice that dreams contain metaphors, numbers, or messages that feel deeply personal yet universal. Keep a dream journal. Notice recurring themes and symbols. Ask yourself, what is this dream reflecting about my current state? What lesson does it hold for my soul's journey? Many Geminis underestimate the power of dreams, but they are one of the most direct channels through which your subconscious communicates with your conscious self. Paying attention to them nurtures both intuition and spiritual insight. Heightened emotional sensitivity is another key sign. Perhaps you feel deeply connected to the suffering of others, overwhelmed by beauty, or moved to tears by seemingly mundane experiences. These are not weaknesses. They are your energetic awareness expanding. Your empathic capacity signals readiness to engage with the collective consciousness, to recognize that spiritual awakening is about both self-realization and connection to the greater whole. Embrace these emotions as teachers, guiding you toward compassion, understanding, and deeper alignment with your soul. Geminis often encounter synchronicities when awakening. Numbers, signs, and unexpected encounters repeat in ways that feel deliberate. These are markers, showing you that you are on the right path. Instead of ignoring them as coincidence, approach them with curiosity, record them, reflect on them, and consider what internal shifts they might signify. For example, a recurring number sequence might correlate with an emotional pattern you need to address, or a repeated encounter with a certain type of person could reflect lessons about boundaries, self-love, or courage. Physical sensations also accompany spiritual readiness. Tingling, warmth, or pressure in the chest, head, or heart region may appear, especially during reflection or meditation. These sensations are signs of energetic activation, your subtle body tuning to higher frequencies. Ground yourself through breath, movement, and mindfulness to allow this energy to flow without overwhelm. Yoga, walking in nature, or gentle stretching can help integrate these subtle shifts. An essential step in decoding these signs is discerning which practices resonate with your soul. Geminis are naturally curious, but not every spiritual approach will align with your energy. Experimentation is part of the journey. You may feel drawn to meditation, sacred texts, energy work, or intuitive exercises. Trust your instincts. Notice which practices spark clarity, joy, and a sense of expansion. Those are the ones that guide you toward awakening. Let's consider an example. A Gemini man notices that he frequently experiences déjà vu and meaningful coincidences. At first, he dismisses them as random. Over time, he starts journaling these experiences and reflecting on patterns. He realizes that these signs align with decisions about relationships, career, and personal growth. By paying attention and acting consciously, he begins to notice subtle shifts in perception, intuition, and emotional depth. Each sign becomes a roadmap, guiding him toward his higher self. Similarly, a Gemini woman begins to feel drawn to esoteric teachings, mindfulness practices, and quiet retreats. Her old habits, constant socializing, distraction, overthinking, begin to feel unsatisfying. She starts attending workshops and reading spiritual literature, not for prestige or knowledge, but for resonance. As she integrates these insights, her intuition sharpens, her energy aligns, and she begins to sense guidance in everyday life. She has moved from passive noticing to active awakening. Finally, Gemini, spiritual awakening requires courage and curiosity. Your soul may beckon you into unfamiliar territory, challenging beliefs, habits, and assumptions. Resistance is natural, but leaning into discomfort is where growth occurs. Trust the process. Honor your unique duality, the analytical mind, the curious spirit, the playful heart, and allow them to guide you. Spiritual awakening is not linear. It is a dance, a dialogue between your conscious choices and the subtle whispers of your soul. In essence, Gate 2 is about action and engagement. Recognizing the signs of awakening is not enough. You must decode them, respond with curiosity, and allow them to guide your path. Your soul is ready, Gemini. The signals are undeniable, the stirring persistent, and the call to deeper consciousness insistent. Your journey has begun. The next steps are yours to explore consciously, with courage, intuition, and a playful heart. Practices to awaken and align your soul, Gemini. Once you recognize the signs of spiritual readiness, the next step is deliberate practice, creating rituals, habits, and experiences that nurture your awakening and deepen your connection with your inner self. Awakening is not passive. It requires curiosity, courage, and playful engagement with the mysteries of life. A powerful starting point is cultivating daily presence. Your mind, naturally restless and quick, often jumps from thought to thought. Meditation, even for a few minutes a day, helps anchor your consciousness. But for Geminis, traditional meditation may feel restrictive. Instead, consider playful forms of mindfulness, moving meditations, walking in nature while observing the subtleties around you, or focusing on the rhythm of your breath while listening to music that inspires. These practices help integrate your mind and spirit, creating space for insight and clarity. Another practice is journaling with intention. Write freely about your dreams, intuitive flashes, and feelings of synchronicity. Reflect on the subtle nudges you encounter each day. Geminis thrive on observation, and journaling allows you to decode patterns in your spiritual experiences. For instance, you may notice that certain symbols, numbers, or repeated encounters carry personal meaning. By recording and reflecting, you create a tangible map of your awakening process. Exploring esoteric knowledge is also a key pathway. Astrology, numerology, energy work, or hermetic principles can act as mirrors for your inner state, revealing hidden potentials and unhealed areas. However, Gemini, avoid consuming knowledge without integration. Each lesson must be internalized and reflected in daily choices. For example, Understanding your astrological chart can guide you to align daily actions with your soul's rhythm, revealing when to rest, when to explore, and when to expand creatively. Intuition is another critical compass. Your soul communicates through subtle cues, gut feelings, flashes of insight, or the resonance of certain ideas. Practice listening without judgment. When a thought or image arises, instead of dismissing it as random, pause and explore its significance. For instance, if you feel a sudden urge to speak to someone or revisit a location, consider that this impulse may carry guidance. Over time, as you honor these inner signals, your intuition strengthens, guiding your spiritual journey with precision and grace. Energy work can enhance awareness and integration. Simple practices like grounding, visualizing light flowing through your body, or gentle breath work help balance your energy field. As a Gemini, your dual nature may cause mental overactivity, scattering your awareness. Energy practices anchor your consciousness, allowing subtle messages from your soul to emerge clearly. For example, a daily visualization of light expanding from your heart center can create a sense of connection, joy, and alignment with your higher self. Synchronicities are not merely coincidences. They are invitations. When you notice repeated numbers, symbols, or patterns, explore their personal significance. Reflect on how they relate to your inner state, your choices, or your questions. This active engagement trains you to see life as a dialogue with the universe, not as a series of random events. Community and guidance also play important roles. Seek teachers, mentors, or peers who resonate with your journey. For Geminis, conversation and exchange are powerful tools for understanding. Sharing insights, experiences, and reflections deepens both comprehension and connection. Choose wisely. Seek those who elevate your awareness rather than impose rigid structures. Your awakening thrives when nurtured in a supportive and stimulating environment. Finally, remember to integrate playfulness. Spiritual awakening is not only about depth and intensity, it is also about curiosity, joy, and wonder. Experiment with creative practices. Explore new ideas, and allow yourself to marvel at life's mysteries. The childlike aspect of your soul is a gateway to wisdom, helping you approach spiritual experiences with openness and delight rather than fear or rigidity. An example of integration. A Gemini woman noticing synchronicities in daily life begins to journal and meditate each morning, then consciously tests intuitive nudges during the day. Over weeks, she realizes that small acts, trusting her gut, pausing when she feels drawn, experimenting creatively, lead to profound insights and unexpected guidance. Her awakening is no longer abstract. It is practical, embodied, and joyfully alive. Gemini, spiritual awakening is a dance between noticing, experimenting, and integrating. By practicing presence, journaling, intuition, energy work, and playful exploration, you cultivate a living connection to your soul. This is a moment when subtle signs transform into conscious guidance, when curiosity becomes wisdom, and when your light radiates through every thought, action, and encounter. Gate 4. Integrating awakening into daily life. Gemini. Recognizing the signs and beginning practices is transformative, but true spiritual awakening is most powerful when fully integrated into your everyday existence. It is not limited to meditation sessions, esoteric studies, or occasional insights. It becomes a lens through which you perceive, engage with, and shape your life. Integration ensures that your awakening remains embodied, practical, and sustainable. The first step is weaving mindfulness into ordinary activities. Eating, walking, cleaning, or commuting can become sacred acts when approached with awareness. Notice the textures, the sounds, the sensations. Engage fully with your environment. For Gemini, whose mind naturally races and analyzes, this can be revolutionary. Simple presence becomes a practice of spiritual embodiment. For example, while preparing a meal, focus on each ingredient, the colors, the aroma, and the gratitude for nourishment. This seemingly mundane act aligns you with the subtle rhythms of life and reinforces your connection to your soul. Relationships are also mirrors for your awakening. As you integrate spiritual awareness, observe how your interactions shift. Conversations become more intentional, empathy deepens, and you naturally attract people who resonate with your evolving energy. Likewise, you may notice relationships that drain your light or reflect unhealed patterns. Integration includes discerning which connections support your growth and which require boundaries, gentle distance, or release. Your energy becomes a filter, naturally drawing experiences and people that reflect your heightened awareness. Another key aspect of integration is aligning your work and creative expression with your awakened state. Gemini, your curiosity and versatility allow you to explore multiple paths. Infuse your projects with intentionality, purpose, and play. Rather than simply completing tasks for external validation, approach them as channels for self-expression, exploration, and contribution. For example, a Gemini artist may integrate spiritual symbols, meditative practices, or intuitive guidance into their creations, transforming ordinary work into a conduit for soul alignment. Energy awareness is crucial in daily integration. Pay attention to how different environments, people, and activities affect your vibration. Notice what uplifts your spirit and what drains it. Practices such as grounding, breathwork, or mindful pauses help maintain balance and prevent overwhelm. Gemini, your dual nature can make you highly sensitive to energy shifts. Intentional management ensures that your awakening remains a source of empowerment rather than exhaustion. Integration also involves trusting synchronicities and intuition in real-time decisions. When a subtle nudge or recurring symbol appears, explore its guidance in the context of your life. For instance, an urge to visit a particular place, read a specific book, or reach out to someone may carry meaningful insight. Acting on these nudges reinforces a flow of awakening, allowing insights to manifest tangibly rather than remaining abstract. Playfulness remains essential in integration. Awakening is not only about depth, reflection, or intensity. It is about joy, curiosity, and the delight of experiencing life fully. Include creative experimentation, laughter, exploration, and even moments of lightheartedness in your daily schedule. Gemini, these playful practices balance mental intensity and prevent spiritual work from becoming rigid or dogmatic. Joy is a signal of alignment, a sign that your light is actively flowing through you. A practical example: a Gemini man who feels guided to embrace awakening might begin his day with meditation, journal reflections, and a gratitude practice. Throughout the day, he incorporates mindful awareness into routine tasks, acts on intuitive nudges, and engages creatively with work and hobbies. In social interactions, he observes energy patterns, maintains boundaries, and shares insights with those who resonate. By evening, he reflects on subtle synchronicities and insights, reinforcing integration and presence. Over time, his awakening is no longer theoretical. It becomes embodied, influencing every thought, choice, and encounter. Similarly, a Gemini woman might integrate awakening by combining intuitive journaling with playful creative rituals, mindful observation in daily life, and careful curation of relationships that reflect her evolving energy. She notices the shift in her perception. Patterns become clearer, emotions more manageable, and life feels richer, more vibrant, and more aligned with her true self. Ultimately, Gate 4 is about embodiment. Spiritual awakening is not an escape from reality. It is an integration of heightened awareness into the flow of everyday life. Gemini, by cultivating presence, energy awareness, intuitive responsiveness, and playfulness, you transform ordinary experiences into opportunities for spiritual growth. Your dual nature becomes your greatest asset. Curiosity fuels exploration, intellect deciphers patterns, and your playful spirit ensures that awakening remains joyous and alive. Integration also bridges inner awakening with outer influence. As your energy stabilizes and radiates, you naturally uplift others, friends, family, colleagues, without consciously trying. Your presence becomes a mirror, reflecting the possibility of awareness, joy, and alignment. In this way, your personal awakening contributes to collective elevation, amplify your soul's purpose and impact. Gate 5, embodying your awakening and radiating light. Gemini, having recognized the signs, begun practices, and integrated your awakening into daily life, the final step is full embodiment, living consciously, radiating your light, and allowing your soul's awakening to transform every facet of your existence. This is a stage where spiritual insight meets lived experience, where curiosity, playfulness, and intuition coalesce into a luminous way of being. Embodying your awakening starts with conscious alignment. Your thoughts, actions, and choices become reflections of your inner truth. Each decision is filtered through awareness, intuition, and your sense of soul purpose. Gemini, your dual nature equips you with versatility. Analytical reasoning balances intuitive insight. Curiosity fuels exploration, and playfulness ensures that awakening is joyous rather than rigid. By living in alignment, your energy becomes coherent, creating harmony within and around you. One key practice is deliberate presence. Being fully present in every interaction, task, and moment deepens your connection to your awakened self. For instance, in conversation, listen not just with your mind but with your energy. Allow intuition to guide responses, notice subtle emotional cues, and maintain an openness to insight that arises spontaneously. This practice not only strengthens your spiritual perception but also enriches relationships, as others feel the authenticity, warmth, and light you radiate. Playfulness and joy remain central. Embodying awakening does not mean abandoning humor, creativity, or delight. On the contrary, your playful spirit is a vessel for spiritual expression. Engage in creative endeavors, embrace curiosity-driven exploration, and allow spontaneous laughter to surface. Gemini, your light shines brightest when you approach life with wonder and openness, blending insight with delight. Even small acts, like improvisational art, spontaneous dance, or playful dialogue, reinforce alignment with your awakened self. Energy awareness continues to be vital. Observe how different environments, people, and activities impact your vibration. Maintain practices like grounding, breathwork, and energetic clearing to ensure your light remains steady. For example, a Gemini working in high-stress environments can use short meditative pauses, visualize energy flowing freely, or employ sound and movement to reset and protect their radiance. Awareness and intentional management of energy allow your light to persist even amidst external chaos. Intuition is the compass of embodiment. As you integrate awakening, intuitive hits, nudges, and synchronicities become increasingly precise. Trust them, act on them, and observe the results. Gemini, each intuitive choice reinforces your connection to higher guidance, making your daily life a continuous dialogue with your soul. Over time, your decisions naturally align with both your personal growth and collective purpose. A practical example, a Gemini woman notices subtle signs guiding her toward creative collaboration. She follows these nudges, engages in intuitive brainstorming, and notices that inspiration flows effortlessly. By honoring these signals, she embodies awakening, co-creating outcomes that reflect both her joy and her higher purpose. Similarly, a Gemini man integrates daily mindfulness, playful exploration, and attunement to intuition, allowing his work, relationships, and personal endeavors to unfold with ease and alignment. Another essential aspect is emotional resilience. Even as your awareness expands, life may present challenges. Embodying your awakening means facing these moments with grace, curiosity, and self-compassion. Emotions, anger, sadness, fear, are recognized, felt, and transformed rather than repressed. Gemini, your duality allows you to navigate complexity, integrating depth with levity. By approaching life in this balanced way, your light remains luminous, adaptable, and steadfast. Finally, radiating light is about influence and service. Your awakened state naturally affects others. Friends, colleagues, and loved ones are drawn to your energy, inspired to explore their own consciousness. Your presence, imbued with clarity, joy, and intuitive wisdom, becomes a mirror, guiding others gently toward awakening. This ripple effect exemplifies the highest expression of embodiment, living authentically while uplifting collective. Gate 5 is the culmination of the journey. It transforms insight into action, awareness into practice, and potential into radiance. Gemini, you no longer simply perceive spiritual truths. You live them. Every breath, gesture, and choice becomes an expression of your awakened self. Playfulness and curiosity fuel exploration. Intuition guides decisions. Energy awareness protects your integrity. Presence deepens relationships and experience. Your light is not contained within, it radiates outward, creating harmony, inspiration, and profound alignment with your soul's purpose. Through embodiment, awakening becomes a lived reality. Gemini, your dual nature, the thinker and the dreamer, the playful and the profound, the curious and the intuitive, is no longer divided. It is integrated, alive, and radiant. You have moved from subtle signs to conscious practice, from reflection to action, from awareness to full embodiment. Your soul is no longer waiting. It is shining through every moment of your life, inviting both you and those around you to remember profound joy and playful wonder that lie at the heart of existence. Conclusion: Gemini, your journey toward spiritual awakening is both profound and liberating. You have recognized the subtle signs that signal your readiness, begun practices to align with your higher self, integrated these insights into daily life, and embrace embodiment, living your truth with presence, playfulness, and intuition. This path is not linear, and it is not without challenge. Yet each step has brought you closer to the radiant, awakened self that has always existed within you. Your dual nature, once a source of restlessness or indecision, now becomes your greatest asset. You navigate complexity with curiosity, blend depth with joy, and harmonize intellect with intuition. By consciously embodying your awakening, you create a life where every action, every choice, and every interaction resonates with your soul's purpose. Your light is not only personal, it radiates outward, inspiring and uplifting those who cross your path. Remember, awakening is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when the noise of the world feels overwhelming or when doubts arise. In those moments, return to presence, to playfulness, and to practices that anchor your light. Celebrate each insight, each act of alignment, and each intuitive choice, for they are the markers of your growth and your connection to higher consciousness. I invite you, Gemini, to continue this journey with courage, curiosity, and compassion. Share your reflections in the comments. Your story may serve as a mirror and inspiration for someone else ready to awaken. Embrace your light fully. Play with your curiosity, and allow your spirit to guide you into the deeper realms of consciousness that are waiting to be explored.